This is it right here.
Combining a team of reporters, columnists, and commentators.
Don't you ever talk about me!
Are you serious?
Jack Ebling has brought thought-provoking discussion.
What are you doing?
That's a damn coaching mistake!
Opinion.
The customer is the one who decides when the future gets here.
Oh, no! The ship is on fire!
You have to check the report.
Are you kidding me?
That game was fixed.
And overall infotainment.
I'll take Jim Harbaugh.
What has he done?
Crazy cootie coming at you!
Quiet, please. In exactly 15 seconds, we'll be on the air.
Thanks, big fella.
Don't you ever come back here again!
No arguments. Those are called ass tunes.
So buckle up.
You talking to me?
It's time for The Drive with Jack Ebling.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Great afternoon, Greater Lansing and beyond, and welcome to The Drive with Jack, the Spotlight Radio Network. Jack Ebling here with my producer, Boston Rob. Back in studio today, Rob, after being at Little Caesars Arena yesterday before the Pistons' big win over Orlando, starting with a 30-3 blitz in the third quarter. Haven't seen one of those in a long time. We have a big show planned for you. We're going to be talking with Tom Izzo a little bit later. And Clinton Jones, he was only the number 2 pick in the 1967 NFL draft. An amazing run when Michigan State had 4 of the first 8 selections. That's never been duplicated, probably never will be. But we're going to talk about the University of Michigan to lead off the show. As we do every Thursday, want to welcome in Tony Garcia of the Detroit Free Press. Tony, how are you?
I'm well, Jack. I tried to get out for 18 holes today, which I meant knew there would be some sort of news, and promptly on 17, Michigan landed a big man, so I had to cut it a little shorter, right from the cart, if you will, but we got it done.
Yeah, I thought Michigan signed a big man in J.P. Estrella from Tennessee. They got another one. Yeah,
Jalen Reed from LSU. I caught wind of an under the radar move that I was alluding to on my social media at Real Tony Garcia on Twitter yesterday, and this is that one. I think this will be sort of a depth piece at the big. He's had a couple injury-shortened seasons the last 2 years.
Okay.
The junior was an ACL. Last year it was an Achilles.
Yeah.
So he only played 14 games the last 2 years, but shoots 50% from the floor, 37% from long range.
Okay.
Averaged like 11 and 6 a couple years ago, 9 and 5.5, 9.5 and 5.5 last year. So efficient, big, athletic, stretch the floor. I'd see this as sort of a backup for Estrella.
Okay. All right. When you look at the price range now for bigs, I never imagined that a decent big would start at maybe $2.5 million and go up to $5 million, but that's kind of where we are, Tony.
Yeah. No, it is steep. I was speaking with someone with knowledge of all of that yesterday, and they were talking about, I was inquiring about Morris Johnson Jr., and I was told that it seems like 75-25 he's headed to the NBA, which is sort of contrary to sort of how people were thinking about it the past couple weeks. And again, I sort of emphasize, like, 25% is a decent, I mean, not a great chance, but that's certainly a chance he returns.
Yeah.
I mean, hitters in the MLB hit 250, right?
Right.
When they go up to bat, they're not just out, right? But it's less often than not that they get a hit. So it's sort of in that range.
That's right.
But yeah, I was told, I mean, he will be compensated like a first-round pick should he return. Right in line with sort of where he's fallen in the mocks. So last year, just for reference, I've seen some mocks where he's 27, maybe some as high as 24, 25. Last year, Danny Wolf was taken 27th overall, the other former Michigan big man, of course, $2.8 million. Then you factor that goes up a little bit for the next year.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you're starting right around 3. And it could be just north of that.
Yeah, I would expect he would be
decent money if you can make it.
Yeah, I would expect he would be a little north of 3. Do you know what Michigan would be paying Estrella and Reed? And by the way, this is not a relation to Terrace Reed, right?
No, I don't think there's any relation to Terrace Reed.
Okay.
I'm almost positive about that. Again, like I said, I was was pretty quick when I looked through it on the golf course. I'll do a little deeper dive in the coming hours. But no, I don't think so. And I don't have a real sense. I mean, I could ballpark it maybe around 1, give or take. I really that is really just me. I was given no insight on his NIL. And Estrella is certainly more than that. I would expect probably north of that. I'll say north of that. I don't even want to be guessing because I don't want to sound like I didn't ask about him specifically.
Yeah,
so
I'm guessing
I
he's north of 2.5, just based on what some of the others. And you get a guy who isn't even really a legit center. And, he's going for 4.8, and you got some others who are at the top of that range. And it's not going to be long, and it's going to happen, Tony. We're going to get a $10 million college basketball player.
Yeah, no, it feels like it's coming. Do you know what MSU's big, who just signed yesterday, is getting?
In that range. I think now it's close to $3 million, whether it's 3 or a hair under or whatever. But that's roughly the range now to get, in the discussion. And we're getting guys now, Tony, who want to be paid just to take visits.
I mean, we've lost cabin pressure at that, for sure. And, I mean, honestly, if I was running a program, that would really help me whittle down people who I want in my program. No, miss me with that. But $3 million for a big going to MSU, I'm sure your future or your upcoming radio guest is thrilled about it. Absolutely thrilled.
Well, it's gone up, and his budget has gone up every year. It's doubled almost every year, and it's going to double or more than that this year, and he's still not going to be near the top of the range when you look at what Kentucky and now Louisville, and they might be close to $25 million. So,
I throw St. John's in that mix too.
Yes,
from what I'm hearing.
Absolutely. We have tons to talk with you about, but I want to start with last Saturday and the spring game for Michigan. Suddenly, I'm hearing more about Tommy Carr than I ever thought I would. I expected to hear a lot about Savion Hyder, but I never thought that I would actually hear a network sideline reporter ask if a freshman coming in might be a threat to Bryce Underwood. But that was a question that was posed.
Yeah, let's just get ahead of that. He will not be a threat to Bryce Underwood. Bryce Underwood, unless there's an injury, will be starting game 1. Book it. That's as certain as I am of anything. But I mean, people get to see 1 of 15 practices. Tommy Carr looks better on the given day than Bryce Underwood did. Bryce, I would say struggled. And it's 1 10-minute quarter.
Right.
So he's 3 for 9. They've watered down the offense. How much can you glean? But just you hope to see better. I think that is there's no sugarcoating that. They behind the scenes they said they've seen what they've wanted to see from him this spring. And sounds like Tommy Carr. Kyle Whittingham was talking up Tommy Carr a couple times, and that's one of the things that I like throughout the spring when we met with him. And that's one of the things that I'm still getting used to, or I'm still getting my gauge set with this new staff, because after covering Jim Harbaugh for a few years, Sharon Moore for a few years, you know that there is a good amount of coach speak. Kyle Whittingham sort of seems like a pretty straight shooter in that, and he's not going to just. Last year, Bryce could do no wrong in the fall camp. He was, 50 touchdowns, no interceptions. I exaggerate a little bit, but everything was perfect, good.
Yeah.
And it's you are putting a lot of pressure on this kid to live up to a lot. But when they were talking about Tommy Carr, I was on the fence because, Michigan only has 3 quarterbacks in camp right now who are healthy. And one of them is Chase Herbstreit, who was like the 2,500th recruit in last year's class, redshirt freshman, not super physically imposing. And so really it's 2. And it's like, all right, well, you're saying Tommy Carr's the 2 right now, and so that means he's ahead of Chase Herbstreit. That's not really telling me a lot. But he looks like a pretty legit 2. He looks like a pretty legit 2.
Yeah.
And you never know. I mean, he's playing in the SEC. I don't know if it's white or the red or whatever in southeastern Michigan at Saline.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he had to, in the playoffs, I think he had to face maybe Belleville or Catholic Central or excuse me, Cass Tech, I think it was who they lost to maybe. So, I mean, they've seen good teams, but that's still Michigan high school football.
Yeah.
And so how does that, I mean, that is a far cry from the Big Ten. And so you just never know, but I was pretty impressed. I'm going to stay away from the sneaky part of the sneaky athlete because everybody knows why you say that about someone who looks like Tommy Carr.
Yeah.
I'll just say he was a good athlete. He could move.
Yeah.
He could move.
Good.
I mean, I don't think I talked to him yesterday and on Saturday, and I'm not gassing myself up in any way. Please be clear. He was kind of built like me. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a very big dude.
Oh, my goodness.
And so...
Greek God. He's chiseled.
No, yeah, right. I mean, he's bigger than I am, but he's a far cry from Bryce. You know what I mean? He just looks like a kid who just turned 8, like an actual kid who just turned 18, not the specimen that Bryce came in as, like, physically last year. And so he said it. He's like, I got to put on weight. He knows it. But I mean, for a debut in that setting. Impressive, and you love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know what his brother did last year at Notre Dame, right?
Right. Oh, yeah, exactly. And, I mean, sometimes that stuff is overplayed, like the coach lineage stuff.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not. I mean, there is something to be said for someone who has, just lived, eaten, and breathed this stuff every second of every day for the entirety of their life. His processing looked good. I thought in some ways his processing and when he would flush in the pocket works better than Bryce.
Yeah,
he doesn't have the same. He doesn't have the same arm. Right. He doesn't have the same physicality if he needs to lower his shoulder.
Yeah.
But there was a good awareness to him, and I mean it needs to be taken with a grain of salt. There were no blitzes. There was 4-man fronts, so maybe they're running a stunt if they're not just running a straight rush. It's 2 high safety looks. They're dropping into coverage, and so maybe that lends itself to someone like him, who is so aware of the coverages, and he doesn't even have to think about what's coming. He's like, all right, I know this is coming. Here's A, here's B, and this is when I need to get out and go. So, but that's still a credit to him to know what to do, even in those situations.
Tony, we are all, and I mean every one of us, judged against expectations. We're not judged against a set standard. We're judged against what people think they're going to get from us. And for Tommy Carr, it's got to be a pleasant surprise. For Bryce Underwood, as you said, the expectation is perfection. And I know what his arm is. I've seen enough of that to know that he has a pro arm. And it isn't the 3 for 9 for 22 yards. But I saw him make a couple of decisions. And I said, that's the guy I saw last year.
I said the same thing. I mean, the one was sort of it was not quite a hospital ball to J.J. Buchanan, but, I mean, he was triangulated by 3 defenders in the left slot, and that was a danger ball. I mean, I think on PFF, that one might have gone down as a turnover-worthy play, even if that's one of their metrics, right? It doesn't necessarily end as a turnover, but it was one. Or it could have been one, I should say. And so, that was not great. A couple of I felt like there was one play where he had a check down to Jordan Marshall early and didn't really take it, and then he went back to it late, and that was not great. A quick little out route, 5-6 yards to Hogan Hansen, throws it wide. I actually was really impressed. I mean, the ball was maybe half a step deep, but he's sort of off balance from midfield and just floats a 50-yard ball right down the sideline to Jamar Browder. And he couldn't come up with it. It was just out of his range. Right. But, I mean, that's the play. For me, I was just like, wow. I mean, what a throw. There are so few people who can even attempt that throw. And to get it that close, that's why everyone is always going to be tantalized by this guy. Yeah. And that's where the upside is.
There are the plays like the one you mentioned, where everyone's going to say, wow. There was another play where he was flushed out of the pocket, and he kind of ambled out of bounds. I don't know if it was a small loss on the play, but he had two open receivers, and he stopped looking. He just gave up on the play. So that's not really completing the play, but who else stood out to you? Who did you say, okay, well, that guy maybe is a little different than I thought?
Yeah, I mean, I think you mentioned him quickly earlier, and I wouldn't say different than I thought. He was kind of what we'd been hearing. Savion Hyder, this guy is, I mean, just talking to him, I mean, there are so few people who come into college built like this.
Yeah.
I mean, his legs look like Jordan Marshall's, and Jordan Marshall is a tank.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like, I think these guys they must squat like 600 pounds. Like, just tree trunks for legs. I mean, there wasn't a ton of room to run. I don't put that on the running backs as much as an offensive line, and take it with a grain of salt. These guys are split up half and half, and so just the cohesion is not there. Right. So I give a lot of passes for a spring game. You just got to know it is what it is. You got to understand what you're looking at. But just some of those physical wow plays, he had a few of those. Celessi Moa, when they got him in space, it felt like he had some burst, had a nice one-handed grab, so impressed by him. Nate Marshall on the edge. I mean, there was no contact for the quarterbacks, but he got home for what would have been a couple sacks. I think he's going to be a name. He's a redshirt freshman who is, I mean, Dom Nichols has really got to bring it this fall, or Nate Marshall could be that starting edge rusher opposite Cam Brandt come game one. And if not game one, soon thereafter. So I was impressed. I'd say those were really the three who stood out to me. You know what you got with Andrew Marsh. You know what you got with Jordan Marshall. Jamie French had a few grabs. I think this was a pretty deep wide receiver room. I really do. Yeah. And it's been. I've never said that. This upcoming is going to be my 5th year on the beat, and I've never said that. So that's a good sign.
I want to switch gears for just a minute and talk a little more Michigan football in terms of the NFL draft, which begins tonight, 3-day event in Pittsburgh. And I don't believe there are any Michigan players who will get picked in round 1. You never know. You could get a surprise late in the round. But do you remember the last time that Michigan didn't have a first-round draft candidate? Even when the records haven't been good, they've always had a couple of individuals that you said, okay, well, that guy's a cinch pro.
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, I'm not going to get the number exactly right, but in their 2-4 2020 season, I think they had like 10 guys drafted, right around there. Yeah. I mean, so it is an NFL factory in that sense. Again, not since I've been here have there been no first-round picks. I think I don't know why it's escaping me now, maybe because I was in the heat too long today. It's either 7 years or 9 years in a row that they've had first-round picks. And I would be not just surprised, I would be stunned if that continued this year. I don't think anyone is really very close to a first-round grade. I think someone will go in the second round, but I think the wave will really start in the third. Okay. So you think that Michigan will have multiple players picked tomorrow, day 2? Definitely. And one step short of definitely. Highly likely. Okay. Highly likely. That I could see, 3, maybe 4 going tomorrow. Okay. I would say probably 2 or 3. I think Derek Moore is essentially a lock for Friday. Yeah. Jayshon Barham is close. Right. Jimmy Rolder sounds like he's moving up towards that potential third round. I think maybe he's like a 3rd, 4th guy. Yeah. So Marlon Klein, possibly, maybe more early day 3. I'd put Rayshon Benny sort of middle day 3, early day 3 round. But once you get in that 3rd round, you see some people take players that, were 5th round, widely regarded as 5th round picks go in the 3rd, and that is not uncommon. So I'd say any of those guys could go. And then the last one, who I wouldn't be surprised if he got drafted, it won't be till day 3, would be Dominic Zavada, the kicker. Yeah, I have seen Zavada's name pop up, as I have with Ryan Eckley of Michigan State, the punter.
And it isn't often that specialists are taken, but if you find one you really like, it can make a difference for you. It happens. So this is probably one of those years, and it's just odd, Tony, to think that Indiana will probably have 3 players picked before any Michigan Wolverine. And it's odd to think that Indiana could have the number 1 pick in the draft, but it was pretty odd to think that they could run through the playoff the way they did.
Yeah, I would say Will had the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
I think that's the 1-1 is locked in on Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, and he's talking about how much of an honor it's going to be. I think he looked up to Tom Brady early in his career, so now he's going to be playing for Tom Brady's team, and so that will be interesting to see as well. Want to go back to Michigan basketball for a minute, okay? And last night, I was there at Little Caesars Arena, and it was in the first quarter, and we looked into the end zone, and we saw Dusty May and the Wolverines and Yaks there, and they were recognized, got a big ovation from the crowd. It was interesting that a little later in the second quarter, they put Tom Izzo up on the screen, and they had a somewhat similar reaction. So they were both recognized last night. But Michigan with the trophy, and they're taking it around. It's kind of like taking the Stanley Cup around the world.
Can't fault them for it. I would probably be doing exactly the same. I've been talking to people. April is actually, and it sounds like counterintuitive. April, I think, is the busiest month of the entire season for these basketball coaches.
Oh yeah.
I mean, these guys
absolutely
are operating on, and that's with 2-day, 3-day preps in the season, right? And with everything that you got to do in the postseason. These guys are portaling constantly. They're in contact. Someone on Michigan staff has been in contact with Morris Johnson Jr. and/or has camped every single day.
Yeah.
They're still keeping tabs on Adai Mara, even though people kind of know where that one's trending away.
Right.
I'd say both are. But and it's not just recruiting. It's I was told it's like mentoring and friendship stuff. They're still in the group chats and that sort of stuff. And then you're manning the portal and doing all these things. And there's potential visits. Not all the visits that have been reported are not actually happening. I can't really say any more than that. But
not happening for what reason? They were misreported, or players have changed their minds, or the coaches have changed their minds?
Just the circumstances changed, needs changed, just sort of the way things are playing out changed. It's just a constant give and pull, right? There's just so many moving parts,
right?
And it's a lot to keep a lot of people satisfied. But they are, I think they definitely deserve, obviously, to get away and celebrate a little bit for a night. And then, it's just, and to do it on a night where 5 different former Michigan Wolverines played in the game in front of them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You have Karras and Duncan Robinson for Pistons, and then you got the Wagner brothers, and even Jet Howard got in the game in mop-up time for the Magic. And Jace Richardson as well. So 6 Michigan and Michigan State players, but 5 from Michigan.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking with Tony Garcia of the Detroit Free Press. And we all know that Michigan's going to have a good team. We don't know how good. I've seen it ranked high, and some people are waiting to see what happens with Morez Johnson. And as you say, they think they have a better clue about Adai Mara, but I don't think anyone is going to be holding a benefit. There's not going to be a lot of sympathy if Michigan loses a player to the draft. You look at the backcourt, you think of Elliot Cadeau and certainly Trey McKinney, who I think a year from now is going to be a tremendous NBA prospect. I said earlier that he reminded me of the first time I ever saw Joe Dumars. So, he's got a long way to go. He's a freshman. Okay, I'm not getting ahead of myself here, but I'm just saying that at a stage, you see that he can play both ends of the court. He can shoot. He's got poise. He can do an awful lot of things. I think he's poised for a breakout all Big Ten kind of year if Michigan goes in that direction. So it's going to be fun to see what happens in this league. Tony, Illinois looks like they've got most of their people back, other than the one that they didn't know what he could do. He's going to be gone, but they've also done very well in the portal to fill their needs. Michigan State isn't going anywhere. So there are some other teams in that league, and you're going to have another very busy winter.
Yeah, that's the expectation. Is prefer that to a couple of the other winners that we've seen around here, where you're just trying to find a way to fill some copy. But no, I mean, I expect Michigan. I mean, I think Michigan's roster will be complete, I would say, in the next 2 weeks. Is what I was told. That's what they're thinking, or largely complete. Sounds like Juke Harris. So I'd say the two names they're really waiting on are Mustafa Cham, the Cincinnati big man who was honorable mention All Big 12, and Juke Harris. Those are really their two major targets left.
Yeah.
If I was ranking the likelihood of the two, I would put Mustafa ahead of Harris. But it sounds like Harris is going to be sort of kind of like an inverse of Yaxel Lendeborg's situation. I think the expectation is he will test the NBA draft waters, and then if he does not stick, which it does not seem. I mean, it could go either way, but I don't think the expectation, like overwhelmingly, is he'll stick in the NBA.
Right.
And if he doesn't, after that, he will then choose between Tennessee, North Carolina, and Michigan.
Okay.
Whereas Yaxel did it the other way last year, where he picked Michigan, then was like, I need to test these draft waters and see where I fall.
Right.
And if I return, I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
So they will. I mean, they feel. And last year they said, like, obviously we want Yaxel very badly, but we're going to feel good about our team even if we don't get him. And if we get him, we're going to feel amazing. And we all saw what happened.
Yeah. Right.
And so I would say that will probably be the last domino to fall.
Tony, does Dusty May play golf?
I think a bit. He says he doesn't have a lot of hobbies.
Yeah.
I think he needs to play golf just for some of the benefits and the this and the that coaches do, but he's not an avid golfer, no.
Could you get him on the course and take some of his money? I know he has his contract in front of him. I've heard he hasn't actually signed it yet, but some of it might wind up in your bank account if you could play with him.
I wouldn't mind it. I think he's slightly too busy. It's not actually that far-fetched. I might be able to do that, but he promised me when we were in Chicago that he was going to help me move into my new home next month, because he was joking about how he moved in. I think it was Trey McKinney who he helped move in, and then I had the next question, and so I had to make the joke. I was like, well, just so you know, I'm moving in May, so I'll give you a call. But golf I'm gonna try to hold him to the move before the course. But I have had the thought about just like a 9 holes with Dusty sort of thing. Yeah. It is an off season. That is an off season project. And so it's not impossible.
I know he's headed to Cabo, right? He's got a trip planned with 10 of Michigan's biggest donors. Is that right?
That's news to me. I don't doubt it.
Okay.
But
I heard.
Jack, you are too plugged in. You're plugged in beyond me, and that's my job. So appreciate you making me look that way.
Tony Garcia does a great job covering Michigan football and basketball for the Detroit Free Press. We'll be right back. The plan. You never know. Tom Izzo is scheduled to join us coming back from our commercial break here on The Drive with Jack. Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back to school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Jeremy, I gotta ask, how do you always know where to go on the weekends?
Easy. One North. It's basically my cheat code.
What's going on there?
Live music every Friday and Saturday night, DJ trivia during the week. There's always something happening, Jack.
So I don't have to keep texting you for plans?
Nope. Just follow all 3 One North locations on social media. Lineups, times, everything's right there.
That might actually simplify my life.
That's the goal. When you're looking for something to do, One North's the move.
All right. See you there this weekend.
Are you passionate about college sports? Foster Swift Sports Talk is your go-to podcast dedicated to addressing the hottest topics in college athletics, including recruiting practices, NIL, the trade portal, collectives, and revenue generation.
Join us as we bring you insights from student athletes, college head coaches, administrators, and other industry leaders as they share their experiences in this rapidly changing arena.
Our mission is to share information and help educate student athletes, parents, coaches, and other stakeholders with the knowledge, resources, and strategies they need to make informed decisions and maximize each college athlete's potential for long-term success. Check out our latest episode where we're joined by Jordan Lewis from the Jacksonville Jaguars to discuss his NFL journey. Like and subscribe to our YouTube and Facebook pages to watch all of our episodes, or you can give us a listen on any of your favorite podcasting platforms by simply searching Foster Swift Sports Talk. Until next time, I'm your host, Dave Russell.
Who knew? Fresh air is a destination. Breathe in the glacial carved canvas of northern Michigan's finest golf courses and have your breath taken away by scenic vistas from tee to green. The perfect place to perfect your game in more ways than one. The waves, woods, and wonder of Bel Air. Escape every day. Discover the magic of 90 holes at one resort. Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
And they couldn't prevent Jack from being happy.
Welcome back. It is the Drive with Jack, Spotlight Radio Network. Jack Ebling here with my producer, Boston Rob. We're trying to locate Tom Izzo. I talked with him earlier today, and he said 4:30 is great. And that means there are only 30 people trying to get his attention at 4:30. Did see him last night and talked to him after the game. Talked to him this morning, too. He was there to see Jace Richardson. And Jace didn't get in the game until the final few minutes, Rob. But when he came in, he took 2 shots, 2 threes, made them both. Magic wondering what would happen if they'd put him in the game in the third quarter.
Taking advantage of his minutes he's getting, no
That's
matter
right.
where they are in the game.
That's all you can do. Yeah, it looked like he may have actually injured his arm before he took the first 3 and made it, and then came back down the court, made a play, and got another shot and made it. But by that point, Pistons were in complete control. The game was tied at the half, 46 all. Right?
And the third period happened.
Yes.
And what a third period.
Yeah, you don't see many 30-3 tsunamis.
No, especially in the playoffs, right?
Right. It reminded me a little bit of an NCAA tournament game with Illinois and UConn a couple years ago. I don't know if you remember that, but it was Very competitive game, and all of a sudden, UConn flexed, and you get like 30 straight points. It's amazing. It's hard to imagine that can happen, and it doesn't matter what the coach does. He can't call timeout every time down the floor. So, but now it is even, 1 win apiece, and I find it interesting, Rob, that a 1 seed, Detroit, 2 seeds, you have San Antonio and Boston. You have 3 seeds, New York, certainly, and Denver. So 5 of the top 6 teams in the regular season have already squandered the home court advantage they worked so hard to build up.
Well, this is what we call in the NFL, and what you could say the NBA is hoping for, I would believe, is called parity.
Yes,
the NFL has the market on parity.
Right.
But the NBA, when you see these games, most certainly, if I'm the NBA right now, I'm liking that. I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Yeah, you hope that you're going to get competitive games, compelling games.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people who only start watching pro sports in the postseason,
which a lot of people do.
That's true. And I admit I'm kind of like that with hockey. I love the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yep.
But I don't spend a lot of time watching regular season hockey. It's the immutable law of 168. Do you know what that is?
Tell me.
It's the one thing that every person on earth has in common. There are people who are wealthy. There are people who are in poverty. There are people who are physically attractive. There are people who are not. There are people who are particularly bright. There are people who are dull. There are people who are honorable. There are people who are despicable. You can look at every issue and find something that differentiates, but the one thing all of us have in common, 168 hours in our week. And success or failure usually depends on 2 things. Luck, the breaks you get along the way, the people you meet accidentally. My life is filled with that.
Sure.
Maybe a spouse. And what you choose to do.
Attitude.
With your 168.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with attitude. Are you someone who maximizes the opportunities? Are you someone who is lazy and just looking for the easy way? But you figure if you start subtracting, how many hours do you sleep? Are you a 6-hour-a-night person? Are you an 8-hour-a-night person? Some people tell you need to sleep more to be more efficient. I know some people who are pretty efficient and they don't spend a lot of time on the pillow. And then what you choose to do with other things, even something as basic as your faith.
No.
That's a very good investment for a lot of people, but it's time spent and a subtraction from the 168. Some would say that's the most important subtraction you can make, but it's a choice.
And time is precious, right?
Time is precious,
very
and you
precious.
cannot get it back, right?
That's correct.
There's no appeal, no replay at the scorer's table that's going to give you time back. So when you look at that, those choices that you make are vital to your success. How much time do you spend watching television shows? How much time do you spend on your phone? How much time do you spend on social media? Our next guest doesn't like that word. It's considered to be an obscenity. But what you choose to do with that 168 is one of the great indicators of your success or failure. And our next guest, out of his 168 hours a week, Rob, I think he just spent 92 of them at work a week ago. Want to welcome in
From the horse's mouth.
Michigan State head basketball coach, Tom Izzo. Tom, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, man. How are you?
Well, we were just talking about Jace Richardson. And last night.
Talked to Jace.
Yeah. How is he?
He's good. He's landed back home. They were just going to practice.
Yeah.
And, I got to admit, when you get into things like that, because I was really happy for our Pistons.
Yeah.
And yet, it was kind of nice that Jace hit a couple threes late.
Yes.
So maybe both parties won.
How's his arm or his wrist? It looked like he really...
It was okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
He acted like it's okay. So,
okay.
who knows? These guys, but
tough guys are Richardson.
As I'm learning, everybody's hurt in the NBA.
Yeah.
I think it's a prerequisite to be an NBA player. You got to be hurt.
Well, I remember in Maui when he got that concussion against Memphis,
right?
And didn't miss a game, and didn't stop you from beating North Carolina. But Jason's one of those guys who always wants to be on the floor if he can, or helping his teammates in some way. So he did what he could last night. Yeah,
he's good. He's happy. He's just it's a struggle for these guys to go from playing all the time to not playing, and it's kind of funny because some places they want to play the rookies, some places because he's played pretty good when he's played, but some places don't want to play rookies.
Right.
It's the way it is. It's one of the many myths of why a guy should leave early or not. It's interesting dilemma.
Yeah, and I'm told that he will play more next year. It's in their plan for him to see an increase in minutes. What did you think of the Pistons' third quarter after the first half where they were tied 46 all, and then they come out with a 30-3 run?
Yeah, I thought the first half was both teams didn't look very good.
No.
A lot of turnovers, a lot of problems, a lot of missed shots, I thought the Pistons, I thought they were getting killed on the boards. It really wasn't that bad, but they were getting killed at the free throw line.
Yeah.
Couldn't make one. And I thought the second half, Jack, it frustrates our beloved fans, or it frustrates people in general, but I've said it for a million years, if you defend and rebound, you got a chance to be pretty good. And they were defending pretty good the first half, not rebounding as good. Second half, I thought they just went after Orlando and and then they got some fast break layups, and then I thought Orlando kind of gave in a little bit.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The second half dominance on the glass, and they wound up 57-42, so plus 15 in that. But Detroit, 14 for 24 at the line, so 58%. And Magic also missed 9 free throws.
Yeah, that wasn't good. But, the one other thing in that third quarter, I think there were 4 minutes left in the quarter, and Orlando had scored 3 points.
That's right.
They had 49. They had 46 at halftime. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a game like that. And that was a strange game. But, hey, it is what it is. And it's 1-1, and I think the Pistons will come through, but a lot of guys played better. But the defense, some of those blocked shots, and then the defense and rebounding led to the fast break. So the rebounds were pretty even the first half. I thought Orlando stayed in it because the offensive rebound better than the Pistons, and then the second half the Pistons just dominated that, and that was the difference in the game.
Yeah. Tom, I said to Keith Langlois, who you know, longtime writer, that Pistons are fortunate that this was not the NCAA tournament. In the NBA playoffs, you can win a world championship by going 16-12 in the postseason.
That's a great statement. I remember when I looked at a couple of those NBA jobs.
Yeah.
And most of the guys, whether it be Smitty or even Magic or the different guys that would talk to me about the jobs, they said one thing you'll love about the NBA, the playoffs.
Yes.
They thought the other was a question mark, but the playoffs.
Right.
I said, why is that? They said, because if you have one bad game, you don't go home.
That's right.
And usually the better team wins a series.
Yes.
And you know what? I think that's pretty true, and I think I'd agree with them. That it is nice to have one little slip up and still have a chance.
Yeah. There aren't many sweeps, and you see that now with a 1 seed, both 2 seeds, both 3 seeds have already lost home court advantage. So you can lose 10 times in the playoffs and have a pretty good chance of winning. But if you lose once, you got to win 6 in a row in college. Otherwise, you're first runner-up in a lot of people's minds.
Yeah, and my other team there, Phoenix Suns with Matt, is DG and Jordan. They're the ones that, boy, if there's somebody that could get swept,
Yeah.
And it's not because I thought Phoenix played a lot better, but OKC,
they're just,
two best teams I've seen have been OKC, and I couldn't believe the Celtics lost because they look good.
Yeah.
And yet San Antonio is hanging in there too, but OKC and the Celtics really look good to me.
I can believe the Celtics lost, Tom, because Rob is cheering hard for Boston, so I can certainly believe that. Want to talk a little bit about last night and your trip down there. And they recognized Michigan's champions and then recognized you, and big ovations from the crowd. You could see, as we always say, you're on one side or the other in this state. But the loudest ovation of the night was for Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
And, he is battling Bell's palsy. This was a diagnosis late in 2024, and a lot of people who haven't seen Zeke for a while say, what happened to Isaiah Thomas? And then
I was one of them.
Yeah. You're so used to having him be effervescent and that big smile, and not there now.
Yeah, I had the advantage to go back to Tom Gore's little vault, he calls it. And Zeke was there at halftime, and I have not seen him in a year and a half, and I knew something was wrong, and then I found out later. But you are so right. I mean, he is so. There were a lot of Pistons that came back, and he was one of them, and. Yeah, he is battling it, and I don't know what the prognosis is on that disease. Do you?
No, it's you can mitigate it. You can you can battle it. I don't think it's something that usually is fatal, but it's certainly uncomfortable, and for someone whose personality was what his was, it's got to be a tremendous change.
Yeah,
still on TV, still giving analysis. It hasn't affected his mental faculties at all, so that's
no. He is sharp as a tack, and he was fun. I mean, he was fun to be around and everything. But you're right. It's that his. I think on him it was his right side, and it was noticeable. But when I found out that, I felt bad. I felt bad that I didn't know and didn't say something to him, but I did just send him a text today, so hopefully, he'll keep doing better.
The other Piston, and Rip Hamilton got a great ovation, too.
But, like the Rip. He was great, too.
Ben Wallace.
Rip said, I want to come up for a game.
Yeah.
And I said,
Connecticut.
Well, come on up.
Yeah.
I said, we're going to play Connecticut here next year, and he goes, well, I can't come up for that game. I want to come up and pull for you guys. I said, it's an exhibition game. Pull for both of us. And he laughed. And
you should have Rip up. That would be fantastic.
Would be
that's one thing, Tom, that I think the Pistons do a great job of. And you do so many things at Breslin that are different. They're just different from other schools. But when you have former players back, and sometimes, they almost slip through the cracks. The Pistons make a big point whenever they get one of those guys back, and they put them up on the Jumbotron, and they let them have their 30 seconds. And, those guys are excited about that.
I told our marketing people, there's so many things that people would understand on what you have to do with the sponsors and different things. And so you can't be everything's so scripted, but I did say that is something. I mean, we bring him back. We try to introduce him.
Yeah.
But I think you hit the nail on the head when you put him on a Jumbotron and you do things like that. So maybe you'll see more of that at Michigan State. I learn every time I go somewhere.
When Ben Wallace was introduced, and it was funny, Tom, because I thought he was going to get a technical foul. When you had Isaiah Stewart blocking those dunk attempts. And Ben was out there. He wanted to play.
Yeah, because he's a lot like Isaiah. We were down to us in Washington for Isaiah Stewart, and I saw that, and I mean, he looks like Ben. He's an undersized center like Ben. So I can see why Ben likes Isaiah Stewart, and Ben. Anytime it's physical and you block shots, he's in favor. And Isaiah Stewart's probably the most physical guy on the Pistons team, and Ben Wallace was the most physical guy maybe in the whole league at the time he played.
The way Asar Thompson plays defense, Tom, he could have played for you, right?
Yeah, boy, I love him. I keep telling Cohen, he's a phenomenal athlete too. Yeah. But Cohen's probably 20 pounds heavier, and that's kind of what he's got to do. You got to figure out, if you're not a great shooter, how can you? Right. He's a good rebounder, but he's a phenomenal defender, and so I couldn't agree more with you.
Well, we saw Draymond Green, who was a good defender, a great all-around player, but I never would have guessed when he was drafted in the second round by Golden State that he would become a many-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year, so guys can transform their games over time.
I don't disagree with that either. I said Draymond did one thing that I was told, Steve Kerr, this, everybody talks about a basketball IQ, and Draymond had one of the highest ones that I've ever coached. My team, Draymond, those guys had high basketball IQs. Right. Of course, Cash. But he had his basketball IQ, which is normally thought of as an offensive skill. He made it. Draymond used to watch film in here, and he'd know a guy inside and out. He knows LeBron's moves. He knows what he does, left or right. Yeah. And he uses his basketball IQ to guard defensively because he's not a great athlete. Right. So he taught me something that I still use with my own players.
I want to talk for a minute about Jeremy Fears Jr. and the pros, and he is going through the evaluation process. I think almost everyone expects that he's going to learn from that and going to come back and have a great season at Michigan State. What's the objective for him there, and what do you think he'll hear?
I have mixed feelings on that. I talked to a lot of people that are going through the draft, our new recruit may do the same thing. Kids do that, and because agents sometimes tell them they think it's good because they know what the kids want to hear. Mm-hmm. And yet I think an agent knows that it's not always good because you kind of give away your warts, and it's like, it's like sometimes you, if you went on a blind date and didn't go very good, that person would have to do something impressive to come back.
That's right.
And sometimes if you don't do the things you need to do, it'd be like us going to see a recruit. Yeah. And he plays bad that night.
Yeah, bad first impression.
It's only one night. You should see it again. Yeah. But if you do that, then so I have mixed feelings on it, but I support it. I just have mixed feelings on who does it really benefit you. You're not going to get a ton of information. Okay. I mean, I can give you the same information. Yeah. But and it's not like the NBA is necessarily trying to help you. Yeah. And they don't sit there and say, well, you got to work on this. In fact, what most of the NBA does now, where it's changed, they used to do a little more of that, but now they have to populate those G leagues. And I think they're encouraging more kids to come out. Or at least, I don't think they actually tell them to come out, but they encourage them that if you do want it, we have other options.
Right. Tom, when you talk about a bad first impression, I always laugh at this story because when we did Heathcote's book, Judd, A Magical Journey, he was telling me about the recruitment of Scott and reminding me that when he went down and saw him play, it was when Indiana had the 2 games in one day in the tournament.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Saturday morning, Saturday night.
Exactly.
Yeah. And he almost didn't stay for the second one.
Almost didn't stay. He goes down, and he's so bad at first half, I thought he was looking at the wrong guy. And then when he saw him, he said, that can't be him. And then he said, he's nowhere near what he's purported to be and what his stats say he is. So he goes to check in at a motel. He wanted to take a little rest between, right? And there were no rooms at the motel.
Nice. See, I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So he's going to check in. There's no rooms, and finally he gets all pissed off. Fine. So he calls back, and I think he's talking to Bill Norton, and he says, "I'm out of here." He says, "Well, what'd you think? What'd you think?" I said, "He can't play." He says, "You know what? I'm going to watch him again if I can." because it can't be this bad. And so after he's leaving the motel, he's got his keys in his hand, and somebody comes from the back office and says, "Hey, we just had a cancellation." So the judge says, "All right, I'll take the room." If that person had not come from the back of that hotel, Scott Skiles never would have been a Michigan State Spartan. He comes back, and I think he scored 42 at night.
Yeah.
And then the recruitment was in. They were off and running.
Yeah, it's funny because both parties would have lost out.
Yeah.
Judd would have lost out, but so would have Scott.
Yes, exactly.
So sometimes a good deal is a good deal for both parties.
Let's talk for just a minute about Anton Bonk, and I don't know what you can say in terms of signings. I know what the rules are.
Yeah, he's signed now, so
okay.
I guess I can talk about him.
7'2", 270-ish, but he moves. He doesn't look like he's 270, and he's not heavy. He doesn't look like he's certainly poor condition, but having gone from Providence to Charlotte, and tremendous improvement last year, but the guy hadn't played much basketball.
Yeah, he's from the Netherlands, and he has he's actually from a small island outside of Australia.
The Pacific, yeah.
But he spent time in the Netherlands, I guess.
He's Dutch, right.
Yeah, but he, I said there's Paul Davis, who, remember Paul, he had short legs and a long torso, and then there was Book. Book had long legs and a short torso.
Right.
And this guy looks like so evenly. He doesn't look 7'2" until you stand him by somebody, and he looks 7'5". But he's long. He's very well proportioned, and is a pretty good athlete, very good student. And we really like him. I mean, when we started recruiting him, it was us and Purdue and Gonzaga and Kansas and then, we finally got down to the final 3 or 4, Cincinnati and Texas Tech and BYU, and I thought maybe he was going to go to Kansas, but it worked out for us. And, you talk about all these centers in the portal, and I think the hardest thing for fans is, one's rated this and one's rated that.
Yeah.
There are no... Jabbar isn't coming here, and Jabbar isn't going to one other school out there.
Hakeem Olajuwon isn't out there either. Yeah.
No, he's not flying around either. It's you got to remember in basketball, the kid's a junior or senior, and he's 6'10" or 11, or this or that, and he's that good. He's gone pro already.
Right.
And people have this myth that, a kid won't go pro because he can make more money now. That's not really true either. I mean, if you get a chance to be in the NBA, you're going. Now, if you're a question mark, then it's different. But most of these kids in the portal at that size are kids that are, good players that are trying to get better, but they're not saviors to anybody. We just think this kid has a little bit of everything. He's tough. He's got size.
The teammates liked him, right? They
loved him.
Yeah,
they loved him.
Well, that's important when culture matters.
Yeah, it is, especially when you got to get one guy.
Yeah.
And so, we'll see what happens, but we feel like we got ourselves a very good player that is going to really help us. We think Jesse McCullough one more summer is going to be a very good player with him.
Yeah.
And so, people, I told you this morning, Jack, so I'll tell all the people out there listening that a lot of tough people on Twitter, a lot of people that want to criticize and tell you. And I said for 3.5 years, I took a lot of criticism on Carson Cooper. And now I hear people saying, man, if they get a 5th year, I hope Carson Cooper can come back. And I say, why is that? And it just goes to show you how ridiculous, to be very blunt about it, people are. And so I do want to say to the people out there that are fans, I hope and pray that you're fans and you appreciate the people that we recruit and the people that give you so much. And if you're people that are mad at you because we lost a bet, or people are mad because all that, then you're not true fans. So that's the way it goes.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who are sitting there, and And they don't mind if you lose as long as they cover. And there are people who exact opposite. You win by 21, and they gave 22. And then there are people who expect that you're just going to be in the Final Four every year. There's a website. The Final Four is not on the schedule. But I think that a lot of fans now have come to have such high expectations that there is no...
okay. Wait, trust me when this... That's okay.
Yeah.
Because I have high expectations, and I don't mind that at all. But, boy, I tell you, college basketball is a little tougher now than it was even 5 years ago for all the reasons, and there's a lot more unpredictability. But you know what? We've been lucky because we've been damn stable.
Yeah.
And we're going to remain stable. And I think if Jeremy, is back, which is, I think he will be. If that works out, we got a chance to be a very, very good team.
Tom, I was thinking after our conversation earlier, and it's good to have high aspirations. You need high aspirations. But expectations, you can't always control that. I mean, this year, who knew that Caleb Glenn wouldn't be on the floor for 1 second? Who knew what was going to happen with Divine Ugochukwu? And that's another point that we can talk about a little bit, because Divine was just in a minute situation. He loved it here. And I think he decided late, the last minute, to go into the portal.
Yeah, arguably the very last minute. And it's been very tough on Divine, and I would ask people to support him, too, because I am. You have a lot of people in these kids' heads right now.
Yeah.
I call them distractions and dirtbags.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a lot of both. And these kids, they got so many people talking to them and talking to their families, and there's so much tampering and stuff that goes on. It is so difficult to be a student athlete right now. And yes, they get the advantage of getting paid some, but they get the disadvantage of what they're going through. And I'm just telling you, it's hard. So Divine, we all agreed that. I think if who knows what Jeremy was going to do and things, and that some question. But he did love it here. He had a hard day, and I think some people back home got to him a little bit, and he did what he needed to do, and I supported 100%, like I did Book.
Yeah.
I don't support them all, but usually guys that I have, at least we talk about it, and it's done the right way.
Tom, I want to talk about the market. And now we have seen, especially bigs, making money that was inconceivable not long ago, and $2 million, $2.5 million, up to $5 million bucks. We know what the going rate is. Do you remember, I'm sure you do, what your first annual salary was working for Judd Heathcote?
I'm sorry, Jack, I didn't quite hear that. What was the last thing?
What was your salary? What was your compensation when you started as a GA for Judd?
$4,800, and I had to pay for my master's.
Okay.
$4,800.
I talked to Lupe. She was in studio last week, and I think she said $7,000, so you must have tried to impress her and tell her that
by the time I met her, see, I didn't meet her then.
Oh, you met her later.
That was my third year. Yeah. I moved up like the Jeffersons. I kind of kept moving up. But, yeah, $4,800 my first year, and Kelvin Sampson and I were talking about that the other day. We were reminiscing that. Just think, we could have both ended up in a Final Four this year.
Yeah.
And what would Judd have been doing up there? Boy, he would have had a beer with Bobby Knight, and he'd have been so fired up.
Yeah.
But so we laughed about our salaries. But anyway, go on from there.
Well, $4,800. You would have had to be a GA for 625 years. 625 years. To make what an average big will make next year in college basketball.
God, that's depressing. I don't think I'll live 648 years. But, the scary thing, that's for another day, Jack. But if people knew what's going on, I'm so supportive of players making some money. I'm so supportive of players having some ability to move under certain circumstances. The coach leaves or something. But what we got going on is an absolute joke.
There's no league in any sport, Tom, none, that have unlimited, unrestricted free agency 365 days a year.
And pay scales. I mean, not in. I guess Major League Baseball has it. That's why they're screwed up. But I think for the most part, you can go to Europe and it's not a free for all like this is, and it's. I think it's. We'll see, but if it's making kids better, I'll buy in 100%.
Yeah.
And somebody proves that to me, they're going to have to do a lot of work.
All right, I'm just looking at the television here in the studio, Tom, and I'm seeing Nick Saban on the set.
I just saw Nick myself.
For the
waving a terrible towel. What the hell's wrong
That's
with
right.
Nick?
What's he doing there? Yeah. So he is ready for draft analysis, and it reminds me of one of my favorite stories with one of my favorite guys. Julian Peterson was a terrific linebacker at Michigan State, really changed the defense for Nick. And then he comes out, and you knew the coach at San Francisco pretty well, right?
Yeah.
And did you have to convince Mooch to draft him?
I did. I was down at a AU event in Detroit. It was draft day, and I think it was Friday night, so maybe they started the draft a little different then. And I get a call from Mooch at 9 o'clock. And I said, 9 o'clock? That's 6 o'clock in the morning. I know he doesn't get up that early. I said, what are you doing? I called him.
Yeah.
He says, it's draft day. And I said, I know it's draft day. He goes, you ever told me about Julian Peterson? I said, you're asking me on the end? He goes, well, we think we're going to be able to get him. And I said, I love him. I just talked to Julian the other day. His son's still a pretty good player, but he's come to a few of our games. It's been great. But I said, I love Julian Peterson. I said, he used to come over here from Medina and those guys, and he'd always want to play basketball, in the summer. And damn guy was pretty good, too, by the way.
Yeah.
But I love Julian Peterson. Yeah, I talked to him when I go out to Washington, and he came to our game out there. He's great. And Mooch drafted him. It worked out pretty good for Mooch there, and I think he took him to the Lions, or he picked him up when he became the Lions head coach, if I remember right.
Well, he was actually Niners and then tremendous success with the Seahawks, too.
Seahawks. That was it.
Yeah. So one other thing for you, Tom, before we let you go. We had Loopy in studio, as I mentioned, and Sunday, the Izzo legacy, the run, walk, roll, it's amazing in year 7, and you've been busy, so this has been Loopy and Rocky and that team doing it. Yeah. But what does this race mean, and what does the term Izzo legacy mean to you?
That was all them. I got to give them credit. I'm just around not to be a pretty face because I don't have one, but just to be a face. And but I've kind of really bought in because I get to be there when we give out checks to these different charities. I think there's 9 of them this year, and some of them are incredible. And but what it means to me is, we started it right after COVID. And so we started it when we had a couple things went on at the university right before COVID, and it seemed like we were all splintered, and we said, how can we rally everybody back? And now I think last year we had 36 or 38 states involved. We had alums that fly in from all over. I think this year it's supposed to be, we're going to be pushing 10. It's over 9 for sure, 1,000 people. And our president, our AD, I mean, it has become, Jack, I get chills thinking about it. It's become one of the cooler things I've gotten to do. My players will be there, and it's just an appreciation, and our fans, our students, our athletes, our alums, and just regular people. And now we're branching out to all over the state and try to help some of these charities that people that need a lot more than you and I need, and it's been pretty cool. So I'm thrilled to be a part of it. I'm honored to be a part of it, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Tom, one of my favorite memories of my life had to do with this race. And I don't know if I've ever told you this. Yes, but it was a couple years ago, I think 3 years ago. And I was getting honored for something, and all of a sudden, it's like 11 o'clock at night, and Robin is going out. I said, where are you going? What are you doing up? What are you going out for? That's my hours. And she said, I got to go get something. I said, well, I'll go get it. You go back to bed. She said, no, I got to do this. So I'm trying to figure out, what is she doing? Who is she running off to see, right? So about 20 minutes later, the door flies open, and here comes Zach. And he is flown in from Beijing.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah, so I said, what the? And then, we hug and everything. And I'm feeling like I'm on top of the world, that my kid would come halfway around the world for this honor thing, right? And then I find out that one of the big things is he wants to run in a race.
Yeah, that was third on the list, though. Seeing you get honored, seeing the family. But I'm glad because Zach has been a loyal fan over there.
Yeah.
Even our guy John Howe, that has gone through so much here from China, and I got to get him and Zach hooked up, because John is going to be the honorary starter with us.
Oh, perfect.
And so hopefully he can get with Zach sometime, because he's going back over there for the summer. But that's a good memory, Jack. And I'm glad that I'll tell everybody that they helped you celebrate by getting your son back. But I think he came back to see you, Jack. I really do. Now, I wouldn't do that very often, but I think that one time he did.
I think that he did set the record, Tom, for the most miles traveled to run in the race, right? Only 12 times.
Yeah, we do stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's what I mean, though, even though you're half kidding, you were serious about what he did, because I remember it.
Yeah.
But you talk about, we have alums that flew in from Alaska.
Yeah.
A lot of people come from Chicago.
Right.
I mean, it's the coolest morning. You got to get over there just to see the morning activity. And any people out there that haven't signed up yet, get your butt in here, because if you can't run it, you can walk it. If you can't walk it, you can roll it. And if you can't roll it, you can just stand there and enjoy it. So one way or another, it's been great, and I appreciate my president and the people at Michigan State helping us. And
supposed to be a beautiful day too, 66 degrees, so it won't be too hot, won't be cold.
Weather.
It's supposed to be dry,
beautiful.
So that will be a great thing, Tom. Congratulations on what the Izzo legacy has meant, especially all the hard work that Loopy and Rocky have put in, and good luck with Anton Bonk. I hope you go bonkers next year.
Thanks, Jack. See you later.
Tom Izzo. All right. We will be back. Sorry, Rob, that was a little rambling interview, but that's what happens. That's kind of the stream of consciousness when we talk. We will be back in just a minute, and we are not going to have Clinton Jones with us. He is in traffic on the freeway in L.A., so he's going to be rebooked. We hope he can be with us tomorrow. Dr. Clinton Jones. So he will not be with us, but we will be back with much, much more. And Jim Stark is going to be in studio too. He's not going to be in studio.
Just got a call. We will have him by phone. He sent you a text.
Well, that's lucky me. Okay, I sat with him yesterday. We did the show from the press room, and then I watched the game from Jim Stark. Had a lot better seat than I did, so I did the Rico Beard seat improvement plan. We'll be right back. We'll talk about the Tigers, about the draft, about much, much more coming up on The Drive with Jack.
There is a destination. Breathe in the glacial carved canvas of northern Michigan's finest golf courses and have your breath taken away by scenic vistas from tee to green. The perfect place to perfect your game in more ways than one. The waves, woods, and wonder of Bel Air. Escape every day. Discover the magic of 90 holes at one resort. Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back to school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Jeremy, it's finally patio season.
About time. And not just any patio, Amy. One North patios.
We're talking sunshine, cold drinks, and that perfect I should have left work early vibe.
Lansing, East Lansing, Jackson, each one has got its own patio personality.
Whether it's brunch in the sun, happy hour with friends, or late night cocktail under the lights.
It just hits different outside.
Great food, craft drinks, and plenty of space to kick back.
So grab your crew and claim your spot.
One North Kitchen and Bar, your table's waiting. Outside.
Let's go.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
Back. It is the Drive with Jack, Spotlight Radio Network. Jack Ebling here with my producer, Boston Rob. Rob, we're trying to reach Harry Jaden, Michigan State tennis coach, and some tremendous honors coming their way. Coach of the Year in the Big Ten, 4 members of the All Big Ten team, Big Ten co-champions for the first time in 59 years. You have to go back to 1967. They are the number 1 seed in the Big Ten tournament, ahead of Ohio State, a team they beat head-to-head. And Michigan State tennis started the season 3-7. 3-7.
Yeah, when you talk about, these other programs at Michigan State, obviously with the hockey program that we follow very closely, and the women's gymnastics teams that we follow very closely, and the women's and men's golf, and the success they've had. But the consistency under coach for the men's tennis team, it's kind of been a little bit under the radar, right? I mean, just not as a team, but individuals over the last couple of seasons at least, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been pretty spectacular what he's been able to do to build that program to a top 20, I would top 25 for sure, program in the country.
Yeah, and you figure since that start, Rob, in non-conference, they went 12-1 in Big Ten play. And today, they beat Indiana in the first round of the Big Ten tournament, 4-1, out in California. So now they are moving on to the conference semifinals. And we're going to still try to get a hold of Harry in our last few minutes here on the show today. But he obviously completed his match a few hours earlier and now getting ready for what would be the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament. And that's something that Michigan State not used to being in that discussion, but he has done an incredible job of building the program and taking it to places where, frankly, it has never been. Ohio State has won 20 straight Big Ten tennis championships.
I did not know that.
Yes, including this one.
Wow.
It was co-champion with the Spartans, but Michigan State is the number 1 seed because of
they got the tiebreaker.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. So we will follow that for you too tomorrow, and then it will end on the weekend. The Tigers with a walk-off win today.
How about a torque bomb for the walk-off?
Yeah, that's 2 in 2 nights.
Yeah,
or a night and a day. 2 in 24
hours. The weather's
getting
better. It's starting to heat up outside, and look what happens, right? But you've mentioned on this show the success of the Detroit Tigers when they hit the long ball in the game.
Yes,
right?
And when Riley Green hit the home run in the first inning today,
you felt good about it.
I said, well, that means they're going to win.
Yeah,
because
the stats show it.
They are 14-12, and in the 14 wins, they have homered in 12 of those games. So 6 out of every 7 games when they have homered, they have won the game, and they had 3 home runs today. So you can look at the number of times where they hit multiple home runs. If they hit more than 1, they've won every time this year. So they have 22 home runs, and 21 of those home runs have come in victories. Only 1 home run in their 12 losses. So 11 of those losses, they did not hit a home run. So,
well, it was good to see Spencer Torkelson hit a couple out of the ballpark. He's been struggling to begin the season, not only with the long ball, but just getting the ball in play, right? I mean, he's been struggling a little bit, so hopefully this will most certainly get him started in what many people think will be a big year for him.
And
he needs to have a big year.
Hinch takes a lot of gas from a lot of people, including me, but today he left Tarek Skubal in to start the 7th inning and immediately gives up 3 hits, pulls him out, all 3 runs score, and so he's in position to take the loss. And I can just hear Fred Heumann saying, he takes the pitchers out too soon. And then here today, I'm sure A.J. Hinch is saying, why did I leave him in so long? But he didn't get the loss because the Tigers had a home run, a pinch hit home run in the bottom of the 8th from Jahmai Jones, who is murder on left-hand pitchers.
Yeah.
He comes in and he is a specialist. A.J. Hinch brings him in. Whenever a team goes to a lefty on lefty, you know, Jahmai Jones is coming out of the dugout with a bat. And so he hit his 2nd home run of the year. And then Riley Green had already hit his 2nd home run of the year. And then the walk-off by Torque was his 2nd home run of the year. So in the span of 1 game, the Tigers go from 2 players with more than 1 home run to 5 players with more than 1 home run. And if you look at what Riley Green has done now, I know beginning of the season, a lot of people getting very antsy, expected Riley Green to come out and be the best player in baseball, or even though he's only paid $5 million a year, roughly 20% of what Javi Baez makes.
These Riley Green, Javi Baez comparisons, boy, you can't get enough of them, can you?
No, I can't. Especially
and
when
some
Riley
certain
Green
other
is
people.
That's for our friend Steve Waite.
Absolutely.
Who's president of the Javi Baez fan club in Mississippi.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at what they have done here and their averages and percentages, and now Riley Green has a higher batting average, is much higher on base percentage because Javi Baez walks once a month, and also has a higher slugging percentage. So we didn't think that we would see that. You know, when Javi comes out there, he plays half the time and plays only against left-hand pitching.
And, you know, one of the things that I'm
largely.
going to flip the script here. We're
Yeah.
talking about all the great things that have happened over the last couple of games here.
Yeah.
I mean, with the series with the Red Sox and now with Milwaukee Brewers. One thing that still concerns me, and I know you talked to Jim Stark a little bit at the end of yesterday's show about the Tigers and,
Yeah.
and what's wrong and whatnot. And, of course, we'll have Stark on here in just a little bit, so
Yeah.
stay tuned for that. But the middle relief pitching, I'm not talking closing.
Yeah.
I'm talking the middle relief pitching is still a little bit of a concern. And And I know Stark.
It is on almost every team, though.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say.
It's Major League Baseball.
Each team has a little bit of that issue, right? So the Tigers aren't alone. This isn't just a Tigers issue.
That's right.
But everybody would love to have the great, 5th inning, 6th inning, 7th inning guy to shut everybody down, and it's just not out there. But most certainly, we'll see if that can improve just slightly a little bit. Because when Jansen comes in there, I'm pretty confident in him. The third-time all-leading saves leader, who just passed Lee Smith earlier in the week for that. So I'm pretty confident in him, if I'm a Tigers fan, to close the door. But before that, Finnegan's fine, but you'd like to get maybe one or two guys, just like any other team would, to really solidify those middle innings.
Right. Tigers now with 22 home runs in the season. It's about half as many as the Dodgers. But there's one team heading into today's game.
Go ahead. I'm wearing the cap right now.
You are. One team. I'm glad to let everyone know you're not a front runner here. You're willing to support a last place team.
They have struggled for sure.
Yeah. Boston only has 13 home runs, and I don't think that team is built, Rob, to have a running attack and small ball. I think a lot of people thought that they would hit more home runs than they have, but
they still can. I mean, there's a couple of guys. Roman Anthony struggled right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Number one prospect from a couple of years ago in all of baseball, right? And there's a couple other guys. And they found ways to win against the Tigers to split that series. It wasn't like they blew the doors off, right? And Garrett Crochet, their number one ace, and you could argue a number one ace in all of baseball. You can put him in that conversation. Got roughed up a little bit by the Tigers during his start in the middle innings, but I'm not too concerned yet. I think they'll get a little bit more pop in the bat. We'll wait and see. But obviously, as a Boston Red Sox fan, not the start, obviously, that they are looking for.
I'm looking at some of the NFL draft notes, and we're going to rebook Clinton Jones, as I said. That was the year Michigan State had the number 1 pick, Bubba Smith, the number 2 pick, Clinton Jones, the number 5 pick, George Webster, and the number 8 pick, Gene Washington. And Clinton Jones both going to the Minnesota Vikings, but 4 of the first 8. And this year, Ohio State is probably going to have 4 inside the top 10. Now, they won't have the 1-2 picks. Might have the 2, might have the 2-3. That's possible, or 2-4, 2-5, something like that. That is certainly possible, but 4 of the top 10 picks for Ohio State, and the Buckeyes did not win the Big Ten, did not win the national championship. Instead, it was Indiana. We're still trying to figure that out. All right. We have located Harry Jaden in Southern California. We're talking to the Big Ten Tennis Coach of the Year of the Big Ten regular season co-champions and the number 1 seed for the tournament. Harry, congratulations on everything that's happened all season and on your victory today over Indiana, correct, in the tournament?
Yeah, Jack, thanks for having me on. And, we picked up a 4-1 win over Indiana in the quarterfinals of the Big Ten tournament. So we're in beautiful Southern California. It's 80 degrees and sunny. And just kind of resting and relaxing before, a big one tomorrow.
Wow. So what's ahead for you now in the bracket? Who will you face tomorrow? Yep. And and who might you face for the championship?
Yeah, so tomorrow we'll play the winner of the USC and UCLA match that's going on right now. And it's a nail-biter. We're kind of following the live stream and the live scoring here back at the hotel, but those are obviously 2 of the most historic programs. I think USC has 24 national championships, and I don't think UCLA is very far behind them. And then, we're taking it one day at a time. But on the other side of the bracket, there's a bunch of strong teams. You got Ohio State team, Illinois team, and in Wisconsin as well. So, as tournaments go, you just kind of take it day by day and see how it all plays out. So we're just kind of scouting USC and UCLA right now, seeing who's going to win that match and how we're going to attack and prepare for that.
Beautiful weather out there today. It's 80 degrees here in mid-Michigan today.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful, and where we're playing is a very historic. I would kind of compare it to like the Masters at Augusta. It's called Ojai, and it's just north of Santa Barbara.
Okay.
And it's where they hosted the Pac-10 tournament for about 50 years. So some of the best teams in the history of college tennis, guys like John McEnroe and Jimmy Connors, Arthur Ashe, all those guys played here at one point. So you feel a little bit of history, and hopefully at the end of the week we can kind of etch our name into that wall of fame here.
I'm wondering about the Pac-12 portal additions to the Big Ten, and they had a lot of success in tennis, as you mentioned, but so had Ohio State, and now 20 straight wins or shares of wins in the Big Ten. UCLA and USC, and they must be wondering what's going on here, because some sports they've come over and dominated, but they come into tennis and they're running into these schools from the Midwest.
Yeah, and we're lucky to have those schools, and also adding Washington and Oregon as well. Those are great programs, historic programs. So it's really cool in tennis because with the Big Ten being mostly the Midwest before this, for us to get out on the West Coast, play a different type of player and different atmosphere and all that good stuff, it's a breath of fresh air. So it's really cool to add those teams and just kind of see some of the historic places. The Los Angeles Tennis Center where UCLA played, hosted the Olympics way back in the day, and USC's courts have obviously they've won a lot of national championships, and a lot of great players have played there. So we're super lucky to be a part of the Big Ten and play the teams that we play with the schedule that we play. And it's a lot of gray hairs for me. It's never easy. Every week is stressful, but that's why you work so hard, and that's why you do it.
We're talking with MSU tennis coach and Big Ten Coach of the Year, Harry Jaden. Harry, your players get an extra charge, a little more juice when they're playing outdoors at a venue like the one you mentioned, as opposed to, in the Midwest, sometimes they're cooped up. Not that you don't have a great facility, you do, but it's different playing outdoors.
Yeah, for sure, and I also think it's a long season, and it's kind of what you see from the basketball team and other sports where the dog days of February and March, where it seems like the end of season is so far and it's a marathon. Yeah, we're at the point where it's a sprint at this point. We got the Big Ten tournament, we got the NCAA tournament, and the weather is beautiful. We're playing outside, and the guys are super juiced up, but so is every other team that's here. And we played a tough Indiana team today, and I'm sure USC and UCLA are chomping at the bit to get some revenge on us after the regular season. So, you got to believe, and you got to bring it during the big moments of matches.
Harry, what does the success you had this year and the fact that you're doing it, where you're doing it, against whom you're doing it against, have to do with future recruiting? I've got to think that is a tremendous bit of jet fuel for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're definitely in conversations that you weren't in before. Yeah. And we're actually graduating a class here that is pretty historic in Michigan State. Yes. Thanos, Barish, and Say. Yeah. And, those guys, we can kind of point to those guys now that they're, entering the last chapter of their journey. Right. And with juniors or whoever it is on the portal, we can kind of say, hey, we took these guys and we made them into some of the best players in the country. Yeah. And so it just makes those conversations, there's a little bit more juice behind you. There's a little bit more proof in the pudding. Yeah. And, it's never easy because we're competing against the USCs and the UCLAs and the Ohio States, all those great teams. And you gotta win those recruiting battles. You don't get a medal for second place, That's right. So, yep.
Well, your team started this year, and there were injury issues. It wasn't maybe as obvious as it seemed, but I think 3-7, and then you caught fire. You got everybody healthy. I just say great coaching along the way, but you go 12-1 in the Big Ten. Now you've won 13 of your 14 matches against Big Ten opponents. When did you know that it was going to work out okay?
Yeah, I mean, the non-conference season, up until, late February, early March, we were missing two of the guys that I mentioned earlier, Thanos and Barish, through different injuries for about 6 to 7 weeks there. Yeah. And, I just kept telling the guys, hey, it's tough. We're injured right now. When we get healthy, we're going to make our push. And, you say a lot of those things as a coach, and a lot of times it doesn't come true. Yeah. But, I got to say I told you so to the guys after we started ripping off some pretty good wins there, and they stayed the course. They didn't jump ship or mail it in through the second half of the season. They trusted us as a coaching staff and trusted their ability as players. And once we got healthy, it's been a lot of fun for these guys.
Yeah. When you look at the players you are losing, the ones who have meant so much to Michigan State tennis, can you point to that class as really the turning point? Maybe when Ozan decided that he was going to be a Spartan and stay home. But what that has meant to the program, and you're going to look back on this, I'm thinking, a little bit like Tom Izzo will with Martine Cleaves.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt. When you get a hometown kid like Ozan, who's one of the top 10 juniors in the world, one of the best in the United States, let alone the world, for him to stay at Michigan State and turn down the powerhouses and the blue bloods, that was a meaningful moment of our program, and we knew it would get some dominoes to fall to get our program going in the right direction. But honestly, when you take the whole 4 years that he's played here and Thanos as well, it's hard to believe where we were to where we are now, and that's just a testament to those guys. I mean, they put a lot on their shoulders by deciding to come to Michigan State, and honestly, they've come good on everything. So it's really, really special, and again, as they kind of finish up their careers here, just want to make sure they go out the right way, competing their tails off, representing Michigan State, and doing what Spartans do.
Is there another gear for this team? I know when you've won 13 out of 14 Big Ten matches, it seems maybe silly to say, but is there something else that can be unlocked to take it to yet another level?
Yeah, I'd hope so. We've talked about this team and some of the firsts that we've had. Obviously, the Big Ten championship, first one in 59 years. Three all Big Ten players, first team, has never happened before in program history. Some of the wins we got this year were the first times. Beating Ohio State was the first time since 1999. But, one of the things that we haven't done is we haven't made a run to the finals of the Big Ten tournament, and we haven't, made it deep into the NCAA tournament. So they definitely feel like there's a lot of meat left on this bone, and it's for us to just go out there and go do it. It's you can talk about it all you want, but great players make it happen, and great teams make it happen. So that's what we're looking forward to doing these next 2 weeks, and we do have to tap into a whole nother level if we want to make that run.
Harry, what's the most important thing your young players can learn from your seniors?
I just think stay the course. None of their journeys were linear.
Yeah.
They had times where they struggled. They had times where they had a lot of success. But if you just keep chipping away day by day, stay in the course and trust in the process, some good things can happen over the course of 4 years. So they're a huge testament to that, and they're legends in the Spartan tennis program.
The last thing, was there a point during that period of time when you said, okay, we've got this. This is going to happen unless we have catastrophic injuries or something that we cannot possibly account for. We're going to be a Big Ten championship level team.
Yeah, I mean, we knew we had the level, but honestly, just had too much respect for the teams across the Big Ten to kind of say, hey, this is a shoe-in.
Yeah.
We kind of got through our gauntlet. We had a weekend with USC and UCLA in the same weekend, Friday and Sunday, and we won both of those, and we felt like, okay, we're in the driver's seat now, but we knew that the teams that we were going to play would have nothing to lose at that point, and they were going to come out firing, so it was definitely, we were walking into every match with a little bit of, we were holding our breath. And once we won against Purdue this past Sunday, honestly, the guys were able to take a deep breath. Hey, we didn't mess it up. We took care of business through the end of the season. And, they really feel like this Big Ten tournament in the postseason is a fresh start for them.
Congratulations on the season. Good luck to you the rest of this week. And then where are the Nationals?
NCAAs is to be determined. It's similar to women's basketball where the top 16 teams in the country host the regionals.
Okay.
And then it kind of progresses from there. But the Elite Eight onwards to the championship is in Athens, Georgia.
Okay.
So if we make it to Athens, that means we did something right. We were in the Elite Eight and, making waves on the national scale.
Well, I think it's only appropriate that the Spartans get to Athens. So just keep it all in the group.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, all right.
I like hearing that.
Thanks so much, and good luck to you the rest of the time here in California.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Jack. Appreciate you having us on.
Harry Jaden. All right. Rob, one thing quickly about the draft before we take a break and then come back, and I think we're going to talk with Jim Stark. He's on his way in, but he's caught in traffic, so we will get him on the phone. And those of you who are watching on YouTube, you won't get to see Jim Stark's face.
Or bald head.
You said that.
I did. I did.
I have to ask you about
Proudly,
the draft now because you have been a longtime Tampa Bay Bucks fan.
Yeah, still am.
And now you said earlier that you are thinking more.
Well,
here's
here's what it is.
Okay.
Let me set the record straight because I know how you like to stir some things.
Me?
And I'm not talking about soup. I'm talking. Yeah, you like to stir some things. So with all the talk of the Patriots, and there's a lot of Patriots hate out there.
Yeah.
And I understand.
Yeah.
I get it.
Justifiably
I
so.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But because of all the hate there, I was actually rooting for the Patriots to win the Super Bowl.
First time?
For the first time in my time.
Yeah, okay.
But that did not mean me jumping ship totally with off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I am a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan.
Okay, you're not going to be one of these two-team guys.
No.
Okay.
So Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm looking to see what they do in the draft. Yes. Okay. So I never left Tampa Bay. I was just because of all the New England Patriot hate.
Right.
I was going to go against the grain like I usually do on this show, as you know.
Oh, you do, yeah.
Yes. So that's why. But there's no jumping ship. There's no two-team favorites.
Okay.
It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Who are the Bucks taking in the draft? Who do you want them to take?
Boy, I want to get that tight end from Oregon. I don't know if he's going to last.
Sadiq.
Yes. I don't know if he's going to last that long to 15, but if he does, boy, and especially with the loss of Mike Evans to free agency, just another weapon for Baker Mayfield to have. You can't replace a Mike Evans, but boy, that would be a great hybrid player, right? Yeah. I know he's a tight end, but boy, he's got all the measurables. I'd like to see that, and maybe some help on the defensive end.
Yeah,
I mean that sounds like the Detroit Lions a lot, but Tampa Bay I'd like to get Tampa Bay to look at that as well. So we'll see. I'm anxious to see if Brad Holmes makes any moves tonight for the Detroit Lions. What do you think?
He could.
He most certainly could.
Known to try to be aggressive and move up if there's a certain player, but I think he's looking for the best
available
offensive lineman he can get, the best edge rusher he can get, but he always says he's going to take the best available player.
Yep.
Maybe he'll take Kenyon Sadiq.
Well, that would mean Tampa Bay would be not taking him.
Yeah.
Because as of this moment, Tampa Bay has the 15th pick, and Detroit has the 17th pick.
Yeah, so when Detroit trades up to get the 14th pick and take Kenyon Sadiq right in front of... No, that's not
right. That would be... Wow. Yes.
So the player I am most interested in this draft, okay, and he's not going to go number 1, but he might go number 2, and he might go later, and that is Jeremiah Love.
Oh, yeah. A lot of talk about him.
Yes, and for a guy to be the number 2 pick in the draft, that's where Clinton Jones went in 1967, but you don't find running backs going there. No running back has been taken in the top 5 since Saquon Barkley back in 2018.
Yep.
So it's been 8 years since there's been a running back taken in the top 5, and I think that's where Jeremiah Love is going to go. He broke Jerome Bettis' single-season touchdown record.
21?
21.
Yep.
And he did that playing about 60% of the snaps.
Yeah, let's not forget the backup running back for Notre Dame. He's looked to be drafted in the first couple of rounds.
That's right.
He's drafted pretty high as well.
Absolutely.
From all the so-called
Darian
experts.
Price. That's
yes.
Right.
Yes.
So
I feel like there's a resurgence for running backs.
Do you?
I feel like there is. There's a little bit. It seems like the last couple of years there's been a little bit more importance put onto the running back. Running back as a whole.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs is a big part of that. I think.
Well, you see, I don't know if there's a more valuable non-quarterback in the NFL than Christian McCaffrey.
There you go.
And
another
we know
perfect
that the
example.
MVP of the Super Bowl was not a quarterback this year. He was a running back in Kenneth Walker the third.
Yeah.
So we know the kind of deal that Kenneth Walker just signed with Kansas City, and they're not known to make dumb decisions with their drafts on offense. So Very interesting point. All right, we will be right back, and we are going to talk a little bit of baseball and basketball. Jim Stark was with me last night, and we did the show yesterday from the press room at Little Caesars
And
Arena.
neither of you ended up in jail. That's amazing.
No, Jim left a little bit early. He had an early morning meeting or some sort of some kind of business deal. So he didn't stick around till the very end of the game or the press conference, but still had a good chance to sit with him and watched an incredible third quarter.
Indeed.
We'll be right back on The Drive with Jack.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back to school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Jeremy, what's the move when the kids say they're bored?
Easy. Family fun night every Tuesday at 1 North.
Free kids meal with every entree, so dinner is handled.
And we're not just talking crayons and paper menus.
Nope. We've got Battleship, Uno, all the table game classics.
Plus, all the big stuff, Amy. Giant Yahtzee, Connect 4. It's basically game night leveled up.
Kids stay entertained. Parents actually get to relax. It's a win-win.
Great food, family vibes, and a little friendly competition.
Family fun night at 1 North Kitchen and Bar.
Come hungry and ready to play.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Who knew? Fresh air is a destination. Breathe in the glacial carved canvas of northern Michigan's finest golf courses and have your breath taken away by scenic vistas from tee to green. The perfect place to perfect your game in more ways than one. The waves, woods, and wonder of Bel Air. Escape every day. Discover the magic of 90 holes at one resort. Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
Welcome back. It is The Drive with Jack, Spotlight Radio Network. Rob, have you been to Pittsburgh?
Can't say that I have. I mean, I've driven through there, or I've been we've driven through there, but not stayed there.
Underrated city. And they just showed the aerial of Acrisure Stadium. And they showed how the draft setup is going to be tonight. I think the NFL really stumbled onto something by taking the draft away from New York City. I know Rick Gosselin
Nothing's
said
bigger than the Super Bowl, but boy, this has turned out to be quite an event.
Oh, yeah. Well,
for sure.
250,000 people come to town. It's more than you get for a Final Four. So that's saying a lot. All right, let's go back to our guest line and welcome in Jim Stark, and he will be in studio shortly, and we'll be ready to do baseball this week. Let's start with baseball, Jim. And the Tigers
Jack,
now.
Can I just want to comment on the Pittsburgh situation really quick. I've been right there where where the confluence of the rivers
the
is.
Three Rivers.
It's a great park. It'll be a great venue for the draft.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you that the Detroit Sports Commission would tell you the draft actually brings in more money than the Super Bowl because it's over those 3 days. They can't wait to get another draft even before a Super Bowl.
Well, they only have to wait another 30 years to do it. So,
the draft maybe not, because they did a really good job in the draft. We'll see.
Well, they're supposed to move it around to every city in a rotation, so maybe they'll skip a couple. Maybe they'll skip, a place like Tampa Bay that doesn't deserve it. But, but I'm looking at the Tigers today, and come from behind win. A walk-off
home run
win.
bats today, Jack.
Yeah, we were just talking last night about the Tigers get any home runs, and you said, well, how about that? A torque bomb. Spencer Torkelson now, 2 in 2 days. What do you make of that?
He's starting to find it a little bit. I think Riley Green is the first one that's really started to get it back in his groove. He's been hitting pretty well for about a week and a half or 2 weeks now, and Torkelson certainly is due. There's no question about it. But his swings look better, his contact looks better, and they certainly need him because that right-handed power has been sorely lacking so far. But yeah, when you get 2 right-handed home runs in the late innings to win a game, even though it was a loss not a loss, but Skubal didn't get the win. He gave up the 4 runs.
Right.
A win is a win is a win.
Jim, people get distracted. Now, we have 26 games in the books for the Tigers, and people want to pass judgment after game 1. But Tigers now 14 and 12, and you're going to have periods, unless you are the epitome of consistency, where you're going to have hot stretches for a couple weeks, and you're going to have cold stretches or droughts for a couple of weeks. And just depends on when you have them. I'm thinking about Cal Raleigh, who last year hit the 63 home runs for Seattle and very easily could have been the most valuable player in the American League. And he started out and he was hitting 135. And people are saying, what happened? What happened? What happened? He's a one-year wonder, and it's been more than 1 year with him, but nonetheless. And now he's caught fire the last couple of games. Last night he had 3 hits, another home run, 3 straight games he's homered. He also had a double and a stolen base. So just be patient. People have such a hard time with that.
Look around the American League, Jack. Only the Yankees are really have. I think the only ones at 60. Everyone else is within a win or 2 of each other throughout the whole league.
Yeah.
So I think that parity is kind of settled in. But you're right. A good player with a good track record, you can't judge him too quick. Now Torkelson, his track record is really only 1 good year. So I think we're a little more demanding of him, especially when the Tigers were depending on him so much this year.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you look at what the Tigers have done, I think their 2 best players have been Dylan Dingler and Kevin McGonigal. So I don't know anyone who saw that coming.
Keith in there, Jack.
Cole
I
Keith?
think Cole Keith would be right there, too. But, yeah, you're right. Dylan Dingler has been by far the most productive hitter. And he reminds me of Lance Parrish. If you look at him, he kind of has that stature of Lance. You know, he's a bigger guy, big shoulders. And Lance obviously combined the defense with the offense as good as any catcher that the Tigers ever had.
Yeah, I'm checking out Cole Keith, and, of course, at first, he was tearing it up. He's still batting .315, but I really don't care about batting average, Jim. It's a useless stat. Much more important is on-base percentage. On-base percentage and slugging percentage, and I'm looking at Colt Keith here, and he's getting a lot of singles, and he's not walking much.
Well, that's true. He's been a good add-on guy, right?
Yeah.
But at least he's getting he's getting on base and he's getting hits when no one else was hitting. So again, a good offense, Jack, has everyone contributing some. I don't want one guy carrying the offense on their back. I want everyone contributing something.
All right, Jim. Let's switch gears here and talk about what we saw last night. And thank you for your help with the remote we did from the press room.
I had great fun.
Yeah, that went pretty well. It was a little bit hard to hear Chase Michelson, but everyone else I thought we were getting some ambient noise in the background. I think we drove Keith Langlois crazy.
He was a good sport,
Good
though.
sport.
He answered a lot of our questions. He chimed in. But Jack, there's something special for us as broadcasters to be in the middle of a special night like that. It's fun to be part of something. Like, even if we're just off in the corner like we were still part of it. To me, that's what we do this for. Part of what we do this for.
I wanted to ask Keith and George Blaha this question because they have seen so much NBA basketball, but you've seen a lot too. I think of all the games you've seen, do you remember a 30-3 run to start the third quarter?
No, I thought about this when I was getting ready to come out. I was going to ask you the same thing if you remember seeing it, because especially in a playoff game and a pivotal playoff game, there was 46-46 at the half, as you remember. It was pretty even, and I think I even said something. This is going to be a slugfest. To come out like that and take control of the game in the third quarter and run away with it. That was so important to this team. Now they go on the road 1-1, but they had the momentum going down to Orlando.
I'm thinking back to yesterday's show. We made some predictions about the score.
You were closer than I was, Jack, that's for sure.
Well, you would have nailed it, Jim, if the game had gone to triple overtime.
When you hold a team under 100 points these days, Jack, you did a great defensive job, and the Pistons really put the clamps on the defense in that second half, especially the third quarter we're talking about. There's so many good defensive plays, and not just blocks, but getting a hand in there, interrupting a pass. It was a lot of those little things that took Orlando back out of the. They were running like crazy in that first half. Took them out of that game.
And they were getting a lot of long rebounds, second and third chances, and then the Pistons tightened that up. But in the postgame, Jim, we heard J.B. Bickerstaff and Isaiah Stewart and Tobias Harris all talk about a little attitude adjustment at halftime. And can't repeat exactly what J.B. Bickerstaff said, but he even got salty in the press conference talking about it.
Did he?
Yes, and they had lost the first game, and then to be home again and be in danger of going down 0-2, heading back to Orlando, he challenged them. Let's just say that, and they responded.
Well, you remember I asked Keith Langlois about the story I read about somebody from Cleveland wrote that J.B. Bickerstaff is not a playoff coach, and I think I asked him something about that. But you know what? That's what a playoff coach does. He adjusts at halftime. He says the things that need to be said. He maybe changes his rotation, whatever else. Whatever strings he pulled the right strings yesterday.
Yeah. Who impressed you last night for the Pistons? Who was the one player you said?
I got to say, Kate Cunningham, only because I think I said it to you last night watching the game. I says he can go and take anyone on the whole floor to the basket and win.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter who he's played. He has a move for everybody. That was impressive, and I thought Jalen Duren adjusted his game. Like, the long rebounds aren't his game. He needs the rebounds near the basket, but he adjusted his game, and he was a factor. So I think those two, the two big horses, and I think of the other end, the guys that really stepped up and played an important part. I think it was the bench. I think they scored some points.
Yeah.
They rather than the other night where they were non-factor, the bench was a factor this time.
Isaiah Stewart, not just the 10 points, but also the rebounding. He was in control. He blocked those two shots at the rim. I think he was a very important player, and if he had been healthy last year, a lot of people were saying that the Pistons would have beaten the New York Knicks.
They missed that defensive presence, that physical presence.
Yeah.
Let's face it, Isaiah Stewart is sort of their spiritual leader, right? He's the guy that has the grit. He's the guy remember we got in the fight the 1 year with LeBron James, and he's always the guy, looking to show, what the Pistons are about. But he can play basketball too. He hit a big three last night too, Jack. Remember that?
How about that?
Wide open, hit a three, and that was one of those pivotal ones when the Pistons were trying to build their lead.
Well, when you get a guy like that and plays 15 minutes and 34 seconds, doesn't miss a shot, and gives his team that adrenaline surge, that's a pretty good guy to have coming off the bench. Jim, look forward to seeing you here shortly, and baseball this week, tonight again. I want to thank all of our guests today, Rob. Appreciate Tony Garcia of the Detroit Free Press. fresh off the golf course, talking about Michigan's newest portal addition, a backup big from LSU. Also appreciate Tom Izzo joining us for an extended interview. Didn't know that was going to come about until this afternoon. Always good to talk with Tom, and he had a lot on his mind. So he is going to have Anton Bonk, as big a player as he's ever had. He hadn't had a 7'2", 270-pound guy who can move a little bit and shoot with either hand. I'll tell you that. So that is Michigan State's portal edition for 2026. Harry Jaden, Big Ten Tennis Coach of the Year. Spartans winning their first match in the Big Ten tournament. And Jim Stark. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.